So, hi everyone, and welcome to Upepo Voices, where stories breathe and voices matter. Today, we are joined with a lovely guest. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Claire. So, my name is Rachael Kivuti.
Mhm,
Um, um, I'm an ERP and cybersecurity consultant.
mhm,
I'm also passionate about mentoring. So, of late, I joined the OCH mentorship program as a mentor, and
mhm,
I'm here to share my journey when it comes
mhm.
to cost of growth. Thank you for having me.
Will you tell us more about the mentorship program you mentioned?
Okay.
Mhm,
So the OCH campus mentorship program is a program where we do mentor campus student
mhm,
um, in the different areas of cybersecurity.
mhm,
Um, it is a game changer when it comes to mentoring because we do have a platform where
mhm,
our mentors are able to learn, do labs, practical labs, and learn
mhm,
from any the different parts of cybersecurity, be it offensive, defensive, yeah.
mhm,
And also when it comes to innovation and entrepreneurship, this is able to give them knowledge of what is happening in the industry.
mhm,
As mentors, we want them to have that knowledge as they step out from the campus.
mhm,
So that's basically the simplified description of the OCH mentorship program that you
mhm.
can always visit. You can always check our website and also LinkedIn. You can get more information about it.
So, to be clear, it only applies to students who are pursuing cybersecurity.
No, no.
Mhm,
Um, Not necessarily students who are pursuing cybersecurity, but students
mhm.
who have an interest in cybersecurity.
Okay.
As we see with the growth of technology, we see
Mhm,
many risks when it comes to cybersecurity, yes.
mhm,
So it applies to many areas having that knowledge.
mhm.
It is not limited
Okay.
to students who only do technical courses or just cybersecurity.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Now, to someone who is hearing you for the first time or is seeing you for the first time, would you walk us through how you got to that point that you are at right now so that we can get a brief context of who you are?
Okay,
Mhm,
so mine has been an interesting journey.
mhm,
Um, of course, I did start having interest of just the curiosity of knowing how computers work back in high school,
mhm,
where I did join a competition, the robotics competition by semester,
mhm,
and led our team to the regionals. And I think that really did spike my interest when it came to computer technology.
mhm.
So at that time, I knew I wanted to do something with computers, but I
Yeah.
didn't have there's so much when it comes to it, right?
Mhm.
So in yes, so in campus I did pursue. It led me to pursue computer technology,
Okay.
and computer technology is a bit wide.
Mhm,
You get to decide the path you want to be, but you get the knowledge of computer engineering, you get the knowledge of cybersecurity, networking, software
mhm,
engineering, all those
mhm,
areas.
mhm,
So with that foundation, I started getting interest in networks, how networks work,
mhm,
and if with time I got to understand some concept of
mhm,
cybersecurity in the network space, and I think
mhm,
that did spike my interest to pursuing a career in cybersecurity.
mhm,
Now, one thing now after campus is
mhm,
I did get to pursue some certification in cybersecurity. But when I landed my current role, it's an ERP consulting role. So I have also gotten the wide aspect of when technical solutions are not just are good as the business logic behind them. So this is an area that I'm getting to learn now when I'm in my current role. Yes. So that basically summarizes my journey. There's a lot into it. I'd also like to mention communities that have really helped with my growth in cybersecurity and career wise, like Cyber Girls. I was a Cyber Girls 4.0 cohort. And last year, I did serve as the social and welfare officer for Cyber Girls alumni community, which also did open some doors for me. So those are some of the communities that have really helped me when it comes to my career.
And where can people find these communities?
Okay, so Cyber Girls is it's a fellowship. It was a fellowship program that is supported by Cyber Safe Foundation.
Okay.
Nowadays, we see Cyber Safe Foundation has expanded. We've seen cohorts like API Security Academy that incorporates everyone, but it mostly applies to women. We want to uplift women. We have community where we hold each other as women. We are able to share challenges, not only the career-based challenges, but challenges that appear with us. We have people of different stages. We have people leaving campus or people who are in campus. Some of us in our early careers. We also have mothers in our communities. We get to share a lot and get to learn a lot from those who are also in front of us. And we have the best founder, I believe, Confidence Stavely. Yes, yes.
So now transitioning to our topic today, the cost of growth. What comes to mind when you hear of that theme?
Cost of growth. Um, what comes in mind when I hear cost of growth is what it took for you to grow. The truth is, for you to grow, there are things that you have to put behind, there are challenges you have to face. So it basically summarizes the journey when it comes to growth, what it takes for you to be able to grow, for you to be able to move at that comfort zone or the stage where you feel like you're not growing or you're stagnant in a way. Yes.
And what would you say growth means to you as a person?
Okay, so for me, growth, I think for me it means one word I'd put behind growth is consistency. I believe consistency, when it comes to consistency and resilience also, these
Okay.
are things that I'd relate to growth, because for you to grow, you have to be resilient, you have to be consistent, which is not an easy, it's not as easy as it may sound. So those are the words that I'd describe what growth means to me.
And would you tell us a practical example of a specific defining moment in your career that made you realize that you can do more than you were doing then?
Yes. I'd say it came from exposure.
Okay.
When I did, I think my first internship was in the networking area. Remember, I had mentioned I had my interest in networking, yeah?
Yeah.
And I did I did enjoy it. I did learn a lot from it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the defining moment when I realized I did have to grow in
Mm-hmm.
this situation
Yeah.
was beyond now the career path, not the career path, I'd say the level I was in at the time, is
Mm-hmm.
that I did realize that I am a curious person.
Mm-hmm.
I like to know what's happening, why is it
Mm-hmm.
happening, but I also like to deal with new challenges. They do challenge me.
Mm-hmm.
So in a moment where I realized I was dealing with the same thing over and over again, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that it was limiting for me, and I needed um, to do better, to challenge myself. So
Mm-hmm.
these are some of the things that in your journey of growth you have to realize, and once
Mm-hmm.
you realize them, you
Mm-hmm.
have to move past them, which
Mm-hmm.
can cost you. Sometimes it can cost you maybe even your being confident in your career direction or your
Mm-hmm.
work. But these are things that um, you have to sacrifice in your
Mm-hmm.
journey.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned
Yes.
networking. Now I'm thinking, no, for someone who has not had it before, what does it entail?
So when it comes to networking,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot. So basically, I think the term networking is the interconnection of systems
Yeah.
that allow devices to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
That is the basic simple definition of computer networking. So we're
Mm-hmm.
talking of computers, servers, in terms of routers, switches,
Mm-hmm.
wireless networks, protocols. Those are things that we're talking to when it comes to networking. And
Mm-hmm.
also in networking, we see it as a career path.
Okay.
Uh, but there are different areas also when it comes to networking. There is networking security,
Mm-hmm.
there is networking engineer. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen network operation centers where it's monitoring of networks and also services when it comes to networking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, earlier you mentioned that there are some things you needed to outgrow so that you could grow in your career path. Would you mention just a few of those things?
Um, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing was comparison. I'd say comparison is a thief of joy and progress.
Mm-hmm.
So once you realize that this is your journey and
Mm-hmm.
they're different, and we all have different journeys,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the level you're in.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I had to let go and focus on my journey. Sometimes um, when you have the comparison bit, it also creates the whole regretting. You get to start regretting maybe things you haven't done, and you forget that every day you wake up, every day you do something, it's an opportunity for you to grow, it's an opportunity for you to change your past. So
Mm-hmm.
these are some of the things and mindsets you
Mm-hmm.
have to let go in order for you to grow.
And by comparison, do you mean were you comparing yourself to your fellow colleagues or the people in your age group?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think comparison comes in different ways.
Okay.
Sometimes comparison can be even what you thought you'd be at this stage
Oh.
um, of your career to where
Mm-hmm.
you're actually at. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was the major comparison that I did have at the time, that I had to let go, because you have this idea that with how hard I've been working or how smart I've been working or what I've been doing, I
Mhm.
expected or I expect that at this point of my career, I'd be
Mhm.
on a different level. And when you compare that to where you are now, sometimes you get to discredit what you're doing. You get to discredit your journey in the
Mhm.
process, which
Mhm.
can really cost you in
Mhm.
terms of growth. Yes.
Mhm. So for someone who is in that exact situation where they are not where they thought they would be rather, what would you tell them to, how would you advise them to navigate that season?
First of all, I'd say it's a very normal feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it will be fair to say that most of us have experienced that,
Yeah.
and we all want to do better, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we are all trying to grow, right? So if
Yeah.
you're in that situation where you feel like you're doing nothing, I think one thing that, or you're doing your best but you're not seeing the progress that you expected to see,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I'd really um, advice is always take note of what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
or what you've done,
Mm-hmm.
just just to see if you're being fair to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can really make us to be harsh to
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
you get to discredit all you've been doing. So that's
Yeah.
one thing. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing will be get to talk to someone,
Mm-hmm.
get to talk to someone about just a normal conversation of what you've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
what you've been doing, what your journey is like,
Mm-hmm.
and why do you feel the way that you get to feel when you compare your where you are now
Mm-hmm.
in your career, what you expected to be, and
Mm-hmm.
get to even highlight why you feel that way and what do you think you can do
Mm-hmm.
better. Be
Yeah.
honest with yourself. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think you can do better for you
Mm-hmm.
to change that? Yeah.
And by someone to talk to, does it have to be a mentor, a friend, a family member, or it can just be anyone?
It um it can be someone who has seen your journey or someone who has been um you have they have experienced you grow, or
Okay.
maybe, yes, I think that really helps,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we get to we get blinded by the comparison bit of things.
Yeah.
It can really bring you down, but
Mm-hmm.
other people are seeing your journey, other people have experienced your journey. They can be
Mm-hmm.
able to highlight what you don't see about
Mm-hmm.
yourself. That
Mm-hmm.
also really helps. Yes.
Okay, now moving on with the conversation, what is one key philosophy that anchors everything you do in the way you work today?
Okay, so I'd say, I don't know if I'll be repeating myself, but one thing that um, is really a key philosophy for me is always have a good foundation. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like even when it comes to your learning, when it comes to if you build networks, if you build systems, if
Mm-hmm.
you protect systems,
Mm-hmm.
having a strong foundation is really something that I think I do work with in everything that I do. Because
Yeah.
if your foundation is weak,
Mm-hmm.
you get that with time. Reality will eventually expose it.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are things that I also look into, and also be transparent. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
transparency. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And if people from the outside were to describe your path to success, what do you think they would say?
Okay. So I think I'll even give an example because
Mm-hmm.
I've had people even text me on LinkedIn or
Mm-hmm.
on WhatsApp, and I get to have
Mm-hmm.
a view of
Mm-hmm.
what they think about me. And I
Mm-hmm.
think one thing that they think or assume
Mm-hmm.
is that everything that maybe I have achieved, everything looks perfectly calculated.
Mm-hmm.
The progress is, there is not really that much struggle when it comes to your progress. It's that the misconception is that it was easy. It looks easy
Mm-hmm.
because from what they see when they look at your profile sometimes, and I feel like that's one thing I also need to change when it comes to sharing my journey. I
Mm-hmm.
also need to share the reality bit of my journey also.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing they don't realize is that in every career pivot that I've had, every achievement that I've had, every leadership step that I've taken
Mm-hmm.
was was achieved by having late nights, failing at first before
Mm-hmm.
succeeding,
Yeah.
and also sometimes you get to see that heavy pressure of holding your grounds in
Yeah.
rooms where you find yourself that you're the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that people don't see. I think people
Yeah.
see just a perfect and a well streamlined career journey. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think people just assume that you got your success easily? Not specifically for you, but why do you think that's something that, because I have had it, a lot of people say that. What is it that the point that you have said that we are not showing the reality behind the scenes and people only show results? So how can
Yeah.
that, would I say, a mindset shift, how can that be changed so that people can actually know that if you're seeing success, there is work behind it?
I think, as I mentioned at
Mm-hmm.
first, is you get to um, most of the time we just get to share the success in public and
Yeah.
not what we've done in private, all the um, failings that you've had in private.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one thing when it comes to journey, and I think that is a reality, is that not every time you get to try. Most people, you get to try many times before you can succeed, and
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time when it comes to people perceiving us, we don't get to maybe share the journey of
Yeah.
everything beforehand. We get to
Mm-hmm.
share our successes, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel um, having that now,
Mm-hmm.
getting to see it in that way can also make actually people think that it looks so easy for Rachel, it looks so easy for Claire. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And now, when you started to transition into what I would call a higher version of yourself, what you have mentioned failures that you encountered, what would you say was the first block that you encountered before you finally unraveled into the success that you are currently at?
Okay, so one thing I'd say is sometimes when you don't get to see the results that you expect to see, you
Mm-hmm.
get to start a little bit of self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
and these are things that can really block you. We also see imposter syndrome. It's something that is actually really common when it comes to being able to get to doubt your skills. And
Okay.
when it comes to the industry,
Mm-hmm.
your skills speak for you, but also a reflection of what you think about yourself carries you a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So imposter syndrome can really kill that, because is where you get to doubt your skill. You start feeling like you don't deserve this. You start feeling um like a fraud, like an intellectual fraud, if I may
Yeah.
say, despite the clear evidence of your success or of the things that you've achieved. So these are
Mm-hmm.
some of the blockers that I have experienced in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in my journey. Yes.
And when just last week we were speaking about imposter syndrome in our platform, how would you advise someone to get over that so that they can actually activate the full potential in themselves?
So one of the thing is adopt the good enough protocol. You know, I have been with the role that I'm in right now, I
Mm-hmm.
have been able to meet clients, and sometimes when you're in the early ages of your career,
Yeah.
it's easy to discredit yourself, especially if
Mm-hmm.
it's a new industry,
Yeah.
and that also reflects on how others people see you. So most of the
Mm-hmm.
time is just adopt the good enough protocol,
Mm-hmm.
intentionally aim for reality and thinking about yourself rather than the perfect being able to, I have to do as bring on, I think it steals a lot when it comes to things in anxiety where um, perfect for you to walk into spaces and showcase your skills, but
Mm-hmm.
in reality, you just get to think that you're good enough for a role. If you're
Mm-hmm.
in the room, don't there is a reason on why you're in the room and how you got there. Don't doubt yourself when you're already
Mm-hmm.
in the room.
Yeah.
So another thing also is you separate your feelings from facts. You get to see, very well that you do this, and you've worked hard on this, you've achieved this and this. So why are you allowing yourself to feeling that you're not good enough, that you're in a point that you're doubting yourself, you're doubting your career? And I
Mm-hmm.
think the other one that I'll talk about, and I mentioned earlier, is I'll say do like a reality check. Always
Yeah.
write down what you've done, your qualification, your actual achievements, and review them with time. And not only achievements, even where you feel like you failed, how
Yeah.
you'll do, why you did get what you wanted, and what can you do to change that. I think
Mm-hmm.
those are things um, that will really help when it comes to imposter syndrome. Yeah.
And do you think that people in these sage rooms that we are getting into have
Mhm.
a role to play in one experiencing imposter syndrome, or does it come from within all the time?
I have seen, I think um, sometimes it depends.
Mm-hmm.
It depends because sometimes, you know, you can you can be confident
Mm-hmm.
and start on your and you're confident in a room, but somehow you feel shut down. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a different experience from now you getting to disqualify yourself before even other people do. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that any of the two should be something that affects how you perform, because
Mm-hmm.
or in reality what you
Mm-hmm.
have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like mostly um if you're having self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
um try to be as confident as possible, walk in those rooms, be able to try and showcase your skill irregardless.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the feedback that you get, it gets
Mm-hmm.
to, it's either way, it should get to build, it should get to build you, because
Mm-hmm.
you yourself, what um, you know what you're bringing to the room. you
Yeah.
know you get a good understanding of how you're contributing.
Yeah.
And you get, sometimes there is a difference between the energy that you get back and the honest feedback that you get back.
Mhm.
So also getting to get feedback,
Yeah.
be it positive or not, it should be able to build you to become a better person. It should be able to build you for you to grow. So
Mhm.
we should have a positive mindset.
Yeah.
Uh, yes, because having a negative mindset can really um, break you when it comes
Yeah.
to, not even only career wise, when it comes to any even in life.
Yeah.
Having a positive mindset really 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 helps when it comes to your growth in general.
Yeah. And now, throughout your professional growth, what are some of the boundaries that you had to put in place to ensure that you are able to manage your time, your energy, and basically your life at the moment?
Oh, okay. This one's actually I do have a lot
Mhm.
of examples to, but yes, when it came to professional growth, there are things you have to change
Mhm.
when it comes to boundaries, energy, and your time.
Mhm.
So one thing is that early in my career, when back when I was in campus, right?
Yeah.
You have the time, to explore different things. You have the time
Mhm.
to learn this and that. Saying
Yeah.
yes to a lot of things, right? It
Mhm.
helps you with exposure.
Yeah.
But as you grow, you realize that saying yes to every initiative, every request, every project
Mhm.
um, can be a recipe for burnout.
Yeah.
So growth has forced me to establish boundaries. You protect
Mhm.
also your time and treat your energy as an asset.
Yeah.
If you're doing something that does not align with the broader mission, or something that's not in your capacity to
Yeah.
give you support, it's
Mhm.
okay. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to establish those boundaries. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's also
Mhm.
something I did learn along the way.
And how will you say people reacted to you creating these boundaries? What was the reaction that you got?
um they actually, the crazy thing is that people actually take well. I think people treat you how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
So most of the time we think they take it negatively, or that's what we think before you guilt yourself into
Mm.
saying yes to everything. But
Yeah.
once you start to um, creating those boundaries, getting to um, conserving your energy, creating time, and conserving your time for things that you really think matter, people really actually understand. People get
Yeah.
to respect that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And when you are creating or trying to navigate how to the boundaries to create, what would you advise someone to watch out on or to help them create these boundaries? What are some of the things that they should look at so that they can know what to say yes to or what to say no to?
Okay, so one thing I think is getting to know what works for you.
Mhm.
And despite that, also getting to, if something is draining your energy, if something is draining, you don't see any growth out of it, they sometimes the benefits outweigh the burnouts, the challenges, the growth
Yeah.
aspect of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes these are things that you get to analyze and
Yeah.
get to say no to.
Mhm.
And sometimes we think the outcome might be challenging, and
Mhm.
maybe it might be, but with
Yeah.
time you get to understand how um, being able to set boundaries actually helps when it comes to growth, when it comes to how people treat your time, how people respect your time and your 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 investment in whatever that you do. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the things that you can look into. You
Mm-hmm.
can try to outweigh, yes, and also there are things that it's an obvious no. There are
Mm-hmm.
things that you get to know beforehand.
Yeah.
It's a no, but also from what I've mentioned, I'm not saying that you don't get to, if you're curious, if you don't get to say no to everything sometimes, or yes to everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're in our early careers, it's actually, I think, the perfect time to get to learn a lot, to get to explore
Mm-hmm.
more, because we have the time
Mm-hmm.
and we have the energy, and also we have the capacity to
Yeah.
be able to get to explore what we're curious about. Yes.
And now, speaking of the messy in between, when you are finally gaining clarity on what to do and how you get there, there's a confusion that comes in between there. Would you um explain to us, or rather give us an example of how you navigated that confusion in between before you figured out, or rather you became where what you are at the moment?
Hmm. Okay.
Mm.
So, you've mentioned the messy middle, right?
Yeah.
I think it was trying to put myself into multiple worlds. And I know
Mm-hmm.
I have mentioned about, you know, trying to explore what you're curious in, but
Mm-hmm.
um, getting on the cybersecurity world, it's already um, large on its own. There's a lot when it comes to cybersecurity. Every
Yeah.
day, and even computer technology, every day you meet there are new technologies coming up, there are new tools coming up, there's new trends
Yeah.
coming up. You get to see people saying that this industry will be the hot take in the next few years or in this era, and
Yeah.
also getting to navigate the corporate spaces, the communities, mentorship circles. I felt like I was living a fragmented life professionally,
Yeah.
wondering if I was stretching myself too thin. And once you feel that once you understand the situation that you're in, you
Yeah.
get to navigate it by at least giving yourself permission to breathe a little, if I may say. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to know everything. You don't have to
True.
be good at everything. You give
Mm-hmm.
yourself permission to be a beginner in new spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you also get to learn from others, and
Mm-hmm.
also you get to constantly track um, everything that you do. And
Mm-hmm.
once you do this, it really did help me to get out of the meso middle. Is it something that
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on right
Mm-hmm.
now at this
Mm-hmm.
point of my career? Yes, but these are
Mm-hmm.
things that help me navigate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, um, when you look at where you stand today, what is the
Mhm.
most significant thing or habit or the comfort zone that you had to actively leave behind so that you could grow?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the habit I had,
Mm-hmm.
or the mindset that I had to leave behind, was the
Yeah.
perfectionist mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being able to think that you have to be perfect at something
Mm-hmm.
to actually do it. You have to be perfect in this and this so that you can try things out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it gets to actually steal the growth mindset. of your career. With time, you don't know it because you think you're trying to be, you're trying the perfectionist mindset. You're trying to do everything perfectly, but the thing is, with in your career, in everything that you do, sometimes we make mistakes and we learn from the mistakes, and it
Yeah.
also holds you back when it comes to exploring new things or taking risks, because
Mm-hmm.
you already think that you don't deserve that, you don't deserve to try this, or you have to be perfect, you have to understand things perfectly to be able to do this. So I had to learn that I had to learn to make decisions, even high stake decision, just with that trust and trusting that you can do it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be 100% okay. In fact, I don't think you can be 100% perfect in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing with growth is that you get to learn a lot. You get to make a lot of mistakes. And the good thing about making mistakes is getting to learn from them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you grow. So that's one mindset I had to leave behind. Yes.
And if you're comfortable sharing, where do you think the perfectionism came from?
I think it's from expecting a lot of myself from a very young age, and
Okay.
also of others expecting the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to actually, it's something that you build actually by yourself with time, that you have to be perfect, you have to do this right.
Yeah.
And really, most of these things, it's it's us that we build them, that we build these kind of mindsets,
Mm-hmm.
um, and all this pressure to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, but with time, you get to learn that it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to learn new things. It's okay to be a beginner in new spaces. It's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how you grow. That's how actually you get to even measure um, your success or your growth in your career. Yeah.
Do you think that it's the environment one grows up in contributes to these habits like perfectionism?
100. Okay, let me not say 100%, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow, yes.
Mm.
Sometimes, yes, it could
Yeah.
be the environment that you grow in and the expectations that other people have put you, and you feel like you have to do everything. You can't disappoint. So
Yeah.
sometimes these are things that um, unfortunately build that mindset. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did stepping into a higher level of leadership or visibility ever feel isolating?
Um, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, sometimes it can feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
It can get isolating
Yeah.
because, with growth, we're stepping on higher levels of your career.
Yeah.
Your language, your priorities, your boundaries change.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people from your previous chapters might feel like you've become distant or you've changed in a way.
Yeah.
um, they see the visibility, but they don't see the weight when it comes to responsibilities or the exhaustion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, one thing that I'd also add when it comes to this is that, and also helped me, is you have to know when to lead and
Mm-hmm.
when you get to follow. So those are things that you also distinguish, because meaning that you're getting to lead in something doesn't mean um, that you don't get to learn from something else, or you don't get to follow from something else. And
Mhm.
you do this by anchoring yourself within a very tight and trusted circle of peers and mentors
Yeah.
who get to understand these exact pressures. And by
Mhm.
accepting that, you get to understand your evolution doesn't
Mhm.
require um, other people's approval, if I may say
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
So you get to understand that in this point, let your impact and your results speak for themselves. Yeah.
And speaking of leadership, is it something that naturally came to you, or it's something that you had to grow into?
So I've always had an interest in getting to lead others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are different levels of leadership. You know, people hear of
Okay.
leadership and they automatically maybe expect you to have, I don't know how many years of experience, or how many, I don't know what levels of success.
Yeah.
But basically, when it comes to leadership, is getting to lead people to where you are, get
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice a bit of yourself into others,
Mm-hmm.
try to help them grow into a position that you're in. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that did interest me with time. I
Mm-hmm.
believe good leadership is important, be it
Yeah.
any space where there is leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Um, good leadership is really important. We've seen the results of bad leaderships, right?
Yeah.
And there are um, different levels into it. So this is
Mm-hmm.
something I think um, I really was into since
Mm-hmm.
when I was in my teenage um,
Okay.
eras. I was to say in my prime, and then I remembered I'm not that old. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I got um, to be a peer counselor when I was in um, um, high school.
Yeah.
And we got to, it's something that we did actually get trained. And one thing that the first thing that they tell you is that when it comes to leadership, you don't it's helping people help themselves.
Oh.
So this is something that I've really been passionate about. Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
try as much as possible to put myself in positions where I'd
Mm-hmm.
get to lead and also get
Mm-hmm.
to distinguish where I get to follow. Yes.
Yeah. And for someone who is trying to get into a leadership position, whether in their job or basically in their life, what would you tell them? How would you advise them to position themselves for a leadership role?
Okay. So when it comes to uh um hmm, leadership roles,
Mm-hmm.
you've mentioned in workplaces or just basically any of
Yeah,
the
on
leadership
life in
roles.
general. Yeah, in the
Okay.
workspaces or
So
in life.
okay. So I think one thing that you how you can be able to position yourself
Mm-hmm.
is I think one thing that helped me, and I also am trying to do, is shift to facilitation. You
Mm-hmm.
can always redefine your value in the spaces that you're in, be it
Yeah.
be your job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Just make
Yeah.
sure you're able to orchestrate the room. That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing that can really help. And also, as we
Mm-hmm.
had talked before,
Yeah.
boundaries. You
Mm.
have to normalize getting to be able to set boundaries, and
Mm-hmm.
also um, accept and normalize when it comes to leadership. Also, you don't have to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can position yourself in where you get to build trust
Yeah.
among your peers, among everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And you build trust. You make sure that there is that building of trust. And
Mm-hmm.
also you can join when it comes to now the peer to peer or finding an external peer group when it comes to leaderships, you can start joining leadership networks. Maybe
Yeah.
doesn't have to be where you're working, or it can be outside your company, where you get to be able to interact with people that the people who are already leaders. You get to learn from them. And also it could be at a point you get to stretch yourself in terms of trying to put yourself in position in rooms where there are leaders. um, Earlier this year I got to have the opportunity to train executives from the CRA group. It was just a one session that I got to get. And one thing that was running my mind before, I did accept to the challenge. At first, it starts with saying yes to this challenge that you think you can do. But behind your mind, you get to have this thought of what these people already have 50 to 60 years of experience. Um, why you get to have these syndrome moments where you get to start asking yourself, what do um, I have to, why do I think that I have something to offer, to people who have way much experience than me, to executives. But now they those are just some moments that you face. But start with saying yes to these challenges, and of being a leader, and also wanting to be a leader, and putting also yourself in such positions and such places where you get to interact with uh, the leaders that you would want to become. And these also, we afterwards, after you go there, you just go there, shut the imposter syndrome mind, do what you're good at, and that's all that matters. And you'll get to get actually some positive feedback, and that's how you get to know that you actually other people, or people that are in positions that you want to be, actually see value in yourself. So why would you doubt yourself? So go all the way out, I'd say. And but we've talked about also knowing what works for you, because sometimes when you sit back and just wish that you do this and do that, or just you um bring in this self-doubt that you don't even get to go out there and try, you'll never know what actually you can achieve. You'll never know, and you'll never even, it actually shuts you down from even growing to leadership roles, or levels that you want in your career, because you don't get to have that exposure. It's all in your head. You've already told yourself you're not good enough, you can't do this and that, and it kills even the opportunity, and even the strength to even try. But once you try, and I think this is where it brings in confidence. We've seen people who have something to offer, and they have confidence, go all the way in, and it works for them. So these are things that you can also practice, because how will people get to see what you can do? How will people get to see what your skills, if you're not actually going out there and trying? So yeah, these are things that you can implement when you want to grow into leadership level of your career, or even generally in life, when it comes to growing in life, in your career journey. Yeah.
And is there a professional relationship or partnership that you had to walk away from because it no longer aligned with the person that you are?
um So I'd say walking away from an environment that I didn't that's no longer aligned with my direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did mention it in the beginning. Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
did have to walk away from a role.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that the kind of environment and um, the kind of environment where I was
Mm-hmm.
did not align to the direction that I wanted to take in my career. Was
Yeah.
it painful? Yes. Was I
Mm-hmm.
doubtful of my decision?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I had already listed the reasons why I was to stay and the reasons why I wanted to leave and how that did or did not align to the direction that I wanted when it came to my career. So it's not
Okay.
a decision that I made just out of emotions or just because I realized that it didn't align with
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted. I had to sit down with myself, do a meeting with myself, if I may say, outline, just be realistic for a second on and outline everything and try to align them to what I want. So it was a calculated step, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still a painful step that I did, and it was also doubtful. I was also still doubting even after doing all the math behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that it's a right call
Mm-hmm.
that I
Mm-hmm.
did. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can say that, but of
Mm-hmm.
course, then and even after you get some what ifs, and there will always be what ifs. But one thing with getting to know what you want is that you'll always try to do and put yourself into places that align
Yeah.
with your career or with the direction that you want to take in life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And growth is something that stretches someone. And when it felt too heavy for you, how did you navigate those seasons when you, or did you ever wish that you could go back to a more simpler, more comfortable life? Yeah.
Um, one thing I'd say, do I wish to go to, or is there a moment that I wish to go to a more simpler version of myself? I'd
Mm-hmm.
say no.
Okay.
At I know it's incredibly uncomfortable, but
Mm-hmm.
with that uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
comes a lot of growth.
Yeah.
Sometimes uh, being on your comfort zone is something that can kill a lot of the things that you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be a loop where you get to okay, where you get too comfortable,
Yeah.
and I believe we owe to ourselves to always be curious or challenge the version
Mm-hmm.
of ourselves that we are, get
Mm-hmm.
to try to see to be better versions of ourselves. We owe it
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves to know what being the best version of ourselves will be. And this
Mm-hmm.
means constantly trying. And this comes with a lot of discomfort and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of growing.
Yeah.
And and you are going to outgrow spaces you thought you would be in forever. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. And
Mm-hmm.
getting to understand that
Mm-hmm.
can come a long way when it comes to your career journey. When it comes to your career journey,
Mm-hmm.
you will get to outgrow spaces you thought you'd stay in forever or you thought were meant for you.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone has to be no how am I going to put it, like, do not discredit your ambitions to
Mhm.
make others comfortable. I think that's the point I was trying to put
Yeah.
across.
Mhm.
So getting to understand these two things, that you're always going to outgrow spaces, and you're always you don't have to be able to be comfortable or um, dilute your ambitions to make others comfortable. It
Mhm.
helps you a lot when it comes to growth. You get
Mhm.
now to challenge yourself, you get to get in new rooms, you get to get in new spaces, and
Mhm.
that's how you grow. It
Yeah.
can be scary, change is scary, but
Mhm.
also being in a comfort zone for a long time is also scary.
Mhm.
So just it's good to take that big leap sometimes. Yeah.
Mhm. And if you could go back to that version of you that was just preparing to get to move into to make this big move, what would you encourage them at the time? And now, knowing what you know now.
Hmm. Okay, so I think one thing that I tell to that version of myself, or
Mhm.
is that it's okay to sacrifice the need to please everyone
Mhm.
in the safety of being in just one same level.
Yeah.
It's okay to be able to grow out of spaces,
Mhm.
and it's okay to develop versatility in the moment.
Mhm.
And these sacrifices that you're so scared of taking, that big leap that you're so scared of taking, if you don't take the risk, if you don't take the big leap right now, you'll never know. You won't know what it would have been like. You don't. You will meet. You will make some. You will meet some challenges. You
Mhm.
might even make some mistakes in the way, but
Mhm.
without taking that risk, you will never get to know what that better version of yourself will have been. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have to grow with time, with experience, with age. We have to walk in new spaces, we have to try new things, we have to try what we thought we wouldn't be able to. We have to manage things that are new. We have to learn from the mistakes that we're making, and
Mhm.
this is how you get to actually constantly grow in your
Yeah.
career. You don't, you leave your comfort zone area. Yeah.
Mhm. And throughout your professional career so far, is there something that you did that you now regret that would help someone out there navigating the same scenario?
um One thing about me is I don't like to regret. Even if
Oh.
I make a mistake,
Mhm.
I like to take it as an opportunity to actually learn from the
Mhm.
mistakes
Mhm.
and grow from it.
Mhm.
So I don't like labeling it as regret,
Oh.
because if you have done something, um something that has made you regret at the time, yeah,
Yeah.
you can take it back. So you
Mhm.
just have to um work through it, navigate it, and try to grow from it.
Mhm.
And with growth comes new things. In fact, once you realize that it's been going, um that you haven't faced anything that's challenging you, sometimes it's good to even try to yourself and see if you're actually growing, or if you're in a comfort zone that you don't even know about. Because
Mhm.
sometimes years may pass, and that's when you realize that maybe you start realizing that you're somehow in a level that you that was the same, and you actually get to see that maybe the challenges that, or the steps that you thought you'd take and would regret, would have
Mm-hmm.
actually maybe come a long way when it comes to your career and your growth. And most of the time we can take change as um, as uh, as as something that's scary,
Mm-hmm.
and these are things that you can you can get to learn from. You
Mm-hmm.
can get to learn from.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get a positive outcome, but when you get a negative uh, outcome, this is
Mm-hmm.
not the time to get discouraged and uh, be in the regret, just feeling a lot of regret and getting to see or which blocks are your journey, or in ways that you can get to grow out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can take these experiences that we see as regret to actually grow from, to actually
Mm-hmm.
learn from. And without that's how you grow, because you will always make decisions that you feel or you actually regret from them.
Mm-hmm.
But don't see them as regrets, see them as challenges. Use them to challenge yourself to be better, to do better. And I think that's how you can actually navigate the whole um, regrets if I may say, in quotes, that you actually feel at a point in your career. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, for someone listening to you or rather watching you who is going through this painful and glamorous season and basically just going through it, what is one thing that you will tell them that would help them trust the process?
The unglamorous face.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing is that I'd say is when everything feels chaotic, overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
confusing,
Yeah.
um, the greatest thing you can do at that moment is don't mistake that for failure. You
Okay.
can take it in, you can get to, you know, try and navigate through it, but
Mm-hmm.
never ever mistake that for failure. Because that face,
Mm-hmm.
um, when you're in that unglamorous phase, is literally your capacity, kind of your capacity is being expanded. You are being shaped or forged to something that is going to be greater than what you are right now. So keep showing
Mm-hmm.
up, um,
Mm-hmm.
do the hard work,
Mm-hmm.
trust the process, trust the foundation you're building,
Mm-hmm.
and in that way you get to actually sustain your life, sustain your progress, show get to grow from it,
Mm-hmm.
and you will get to when it's time, when it's
Mm-hmm.
times when you have already been out of that phase,
Yeah.
you will get to shine. You will get to see how far you've come from. You'll get to be able to see how much that pushed you. Not being able to mistake that for failure has actually pushed you to grow to
Mm-hmm.
something that you always wanted to be. And um, also, you get to see it's a face actually you get to that gets to reflect
Mm-hmm.
your journey, all the sacrifices you had to take in, all the what ifs, the outcomes of the what ifs that you had, all
Mm-hmm.
those hard days that you had. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing, trust me, most people don't focus on your failures. It's rarely
Mm-hmm.
for people to focus on um, what you failed in and what you failed to do.
Yeah.
Once you get to experience the success bit of your journey, or you get to accomplish something, most
Mm-hmm.
people actually focus on that,
Yeah.
how you were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give an example with the founder of CyberSafe Foundation, Confidence Dudley.
Okay.
Um, we know her as a woman who has traversed and walked into spaces that women in Africa never even thought they would when it comes to the technology and even the cybersecurity bit of things.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
what people don't know, or what people are not even talking about right now, is maybe
Mhm.
the failures that she had along the way. So sure,
Mhm.
she started
Mhm.
some other companies before, and she did found some other initiatives before, but nobody talks about that. Uh, Getting to see what she has accomplished right now. So
Mhm. Mhm.
take that phase,
Mhm.
um, navigate through it. It can be a frustrating space, but take
Yeah.
it as an opportunity to grow. Take it
Mhm.
as your capacity is being expanded, and take it as a foundation of what you're building. And with
Mhm.
time, you
Mhm.
get to see results. And when you navigate out of that phase, you get
Yeah.
to realize that it was worth it. One thing that we're going to take from it,
Mhm.
just take note that we've said it as a phase. So it's not
Mhm.
something that will last forever. That's
Yeah.
why, yeah, it's a phase. And with that mindset, with
Mhm.
that mentality, you actually get to grow out of that, and
Mhm.
it helps you actually trust the process. Yeah.
Mhm. So, for in the spirit of encouragement, how long did it take for you in terms of years, months, or even days to move from when you decided to transition until you got to where you are currently at?
um Pardon, can you in terms of
In
the
terms of your career,
uh-huh.
from the moment you decided to leave that internship period to
Hmm.
actually become a better version of yourself to now, what's the duration there?
Okay, so I don't know if I have an exact time, but I
Mm-hmm.
do remember when I decided I have to do better, I have to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And that decision also translates to many, I think about 2 3 years
Oh,
now,
okay.
because it was something I did realize when I was in campus, that I needed to do better. I needed to grow. I needed to expose, to get the exposure that I needed to become the person that I still want to be, even at this point of my career. There's
Yeah.
that version of myself that I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It does um making the decision to actually become a better version of yourself and actually actualizing it
Mm-hmm.
is are different processes. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing I say is that it takes time. It's also a
Mm-hmm.
phase in itself,
Yeah.
and um, you just have to take that leap and believe in yourself. Put
Mm-hmm.
yourself in those uncomfortable positions. Put
Yeah.
yourself in spaces that you get to grow. Be able to
Mm-hmm.
set boundaries. Say no to things that you see that are going to cost your career or journey, your career journey.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things you get to face with time. So
Mm-hmm.
I won't say it has taken a specific amount of time. I still say I'm in that phase, because
Okay.
every day that I do, every day when I wake up, I know that I can be better, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that I want to be a better version of myself. So it's a journey in itself,
Mm-hmm.
which is a space also in, but I don't discredit where I have come from, and
Mm-hmm.
also what I have been able to achieve, the mistakes I've made along the way, and what
Yeah.
I've learned from them. Yes.
Okay, so that was our time for today. Thank you very much for accepting our call. I really enjoyed
Thank
this conversation. It was quite inspiring. You have answered a lot of questions that I personally had, so thank you for that. We would love to have you again and again. I hope that you're going to accept again and again when we want to have you back. So thank you very much. So in case there's someone who is trying to give you work and try to expand your bag, how can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. My username handle for LinkedIn is Rachael Kivuti,
Mm-hmm.
and I also, you can find me via email at
Mm-hmm.
kivutingather at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are ways that you can find me, and um, those are also areas that I was always looking to. I'll try as much as possible to respond. Sometimes it gets busy
Mm-hmm.
with work, and also with a lot going on um, in life, but
Mm-hmm.
I always find time
Mm-hmm.
I will always find time to respond. So you can reach me via email, you can reach me via LinkedIn, you can just message me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will always respond. I will try my best to respond. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if there's one thing that you'd like the audience to remember you with, what will it be?
Um, just, I think it will be just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Consistency and resilience
Mm-hmm.
over perfection.
Yeah.
Um, those are the things, the values I live with and try to practice every
Mm-hmm.
single day,
Mm-hmm.
because with being, it's not easy, it's not an easy journey.
Yeah.
Getting through life, navigating through the career, also part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're consistent and you're resilient and you have integrity above all, so are
Mm-hmm.
things that, those are core values that I really, really, really treasure. Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening to us and accepting our call once again. For the audience, in case you'd like to listen to this conversation again, because there are a lot of gems, you can find our page on YouTube as Upepo Ecosystem. You can follow us on LinkedIn at Upepo Voices or even Upepo Ecosystem. We are venturing into TikTok, so you'll be seeing us there soon. And thank you very much for giving us your time. We will see you again the next time we have a conversation. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So, Rachel,